Sweet. Dr. Reed, Greed, how's it going?
Good. How are you doing, John? Good to see you again.
Good. How's that plane ride?
Oh, it was long.
Yeah? Oh, I bet.
That's all right, though. We're glad to be here.
No, I'm excited. I was looking forward to this interview this week, or just kind of to discuss this opportunity. I'm really excited, and I've heard really good things about you. My dad says great things about you, and I'm looking forward to working with you. So.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm excited about what you're trying to do here, and the excitement that you have for the light bulb. So.
No, yeah, I think we could have lots of success in this. I mean, I've always been interested in kind of starting a business and, the entrepreneur route. And I know you have lots of experience with management, and really that's what I need. And I need some direction. And so what are your viewpoints, or what got you interested in this venture?
Yeah, so I mean, your dad, obviously we've been longtime friends, and I absolutely appreciate his business knowledge, and so he gave me a call and let me know that you were trying to do something in the field that I was currently in, and so what I'm most excited about is the fact that you're chasing a market that I feel like is not being, I guess, tactfully addressed yet in the market. I mean, I work at Edison Bulbs, as you know, and had lots of experience there, but they have yet to try to expand towards some of these more innovative style of light bulbs, and obviously quality needs to go with it. But I mean, that's something that the juvenile, I guess, industry works out on its own. You got to experiment with those things, and I think it's just an underutilized market. So.
Okay, awesome. No, I agree. And talking over the phone and just thinking about what we kind of wanted to focus on coming out, and then I kind of wrote the business plan up and just kind of the idea of what we wanted to start out with, and really and I was talking with my father about this too, and we kind of wanted to initially focus on two product categories. So plumbing is one, and then electrical lighting equipment, which you're most familiar with. So I mean, this area, that's what seems to be kind of like the least competitive, and I think we could have some great potential there. And I mean, in the future, depending how big we go, I mean, I know you have lots of contacts, people in China. If we could get in there, start kind of new industry there, and I think we could go a lot bigger and start involving a lot more different categories of products too. So
yeah, and so just one thing that you had mentioned there is you're trying to chase a little bit like two markets. One being the plumbing, and then the other side being the electrical, this light bulb market. And so one thing that I'm just kind of curious about is what kind of role do you want to play within your company? Are you looking to kind of just foster it out to where you get the right people in the right places and you take a step back and let them do it? Or is it something where you want to have an active role in the decision-making process, where you want to be hands-on, meeting with clients? Or what are you looking for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was kind of thinking about that because my dad, he has a construction company. Yeah. And I never really wanted to be super involved with that, have my dad as my boss or work for somebody else. And so just this entrepreneur idea, I've always had this itch to kind of do my own thing. And just this whole idea, this whole process, I mean, it's kind of my baby. Like you can understand, yeah. I've come up with this business plan, and I think these ideas really have some potential. I mean, I'm just pretty young. I don't have a lot of experience. So as far as the future, I definitely want to be a large part of this business, play a big role in it. We had talked about before, if we were to kind of do this partnership, and then you with all your business management experience and just your relationships, I think you could fit our company really well as CEO. So I'm not really chasing that position as far as running everything, but I really would like to have kind of a say and being able to kind of oversee as well. So I don't know, I've kind of thought about having like most companies, they'll have a board, and so either chairman of a board or be on the board to be able to help make decisions, and then still have that power and ownership to be able to not lose control,
Right, absolutely. Well, I definitely get that. I mean, like you've mentioned, it's your baby, and you put a lot of time and effort into this. How many you've been to China twice now to meet with different manufacturers?
Yeah, we've talked. I got that business plan going, and so I went to a couple different factories that we could get some pretty decent products for cheaper but have pretty good quality.
Yeah.
And so I think we have lots of potential there. I just know that you have some more friends in there. And you'd also said something about bringing on one of your top salesmen too.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's been with me a long time. He's mentioned a couple times or talked about how maybe he's looking for different opportunities, and it's just kind of the company structure that's turning him off as far as from Edison's standpoint. And he sticks around just because of our interactions, and I try to keep him with us because he's just the top performing individual, top notch. He does very well for himself, and that is something where if we could get him to be a part of this and maybe an integral role in the corporation, then he'd put his skin in the game and he'd be wanting to make some money too. And
and that's what I was looking forward to. I mean, you guys also, I think you'd be kind of like just a new fresh breath of air. You'd be able to kind of start something new, and you've been involved a lot with the multinationals and kind of the bigger corporations, and you've been with Edison for years, and so I think this would be kind of a cool opportunity for you guys, and there's lots of potential. So as far as your future with Edison Bulbs, I know you're still working there.
Yeah.
If we were to do this partnership, what would be your future as far as Edison? How would you be able to make that decision as far as staying with them or coming with us if we offered you the CEO position? Or
right, and that's a great question. That's a tough question too.
Yeah,
it's definitely a big question. But one thing that I love about Edison is just the value that they put into their products. They're made in Italy, sold in France. They're just well crafted light bulbs, and then customer satisfaction, and then our distributors, they love the product too. Right. And I do have those channels where I could get it in with them. Okay. I have those relationships, but it's all independent upon the product itself. If I don't feel like it is something that meets the standard, then that's something that I'd be hesitant to introduce to these guys because I don't want my name on the line. I want them to be able to trust me with that. As far as the CEO role and being incorporated into your company here at what's the official name of your company? It is HalaMaterials.
Yeah, HalaMaterials.
Right? Yeah, so HalaMaterials. I mean, that's exciting. And once again, like I'm meeting with you because it's a market that I think we could have a lot of success in and tap into it. And if it came down to it for the right, I guess, equity split of some kind, that's something that would totally get me on board. And I mean, I know I'm 59. I look old. I got a lot of experience, but I like to use that experience. I'm too young still to just go into retirement. So something where maybe I could work with you for a couple some odd years, and then I could eventually phase out. And as the company starts expanding, then you could eventually purchase that equity off of me and kind of transition me out, and you transition in the CEO role, get people in the right places. Okay. If that's something that you'd be looking for. So.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, with your experience, that's kind of why we came to you in the first place. And as far as your role with Edison Bulbs and then be able to come over here, do you know how long you would be with them still, or being able to do kind of both roles, be there and then be here? We just want to make sure that you have the time and means necessary to kind of fulfill the role as CEO in this company. And I don't want any problems to arise, as far as your current job either. So
well, as long as we strike a deal that I guess I feel like is fair to me, that's something where I could transition over to HalaMaterials tomorrow.
Okay,
so
awesome.
That's something
good to know.
that as long as I feel like it is something that I can support, I'd totally be on board.
Okay, and just to be clear too, this just my business, HalaMaterials, it might be a little more different than some of the current companies and big multinationals that are kind of grew up this area. They were started this area years ago and by these guys who have been running these companies for years. I've just learned in my life experience and from seeing other companies, as far as ethical behavior in the business world and being able to just make all the right decisions legally and everything that I've seen a few fallouts from friends and from other companies, and so I just want to make sure you're aware, like here at HalaMaterials, we want to be completely ethical and honest, not taking bribes or anything like that from customers, and we just want to do everything the right way. So as long as you're on board with that and being able to support that belief that we have in our company, I think we could really go somewhere as far as the ownership and being able to split up the equity. So.
I couldn't agree with you more as far as the ethical. We definitely want to. That's one thing that these companies pride themselves on around here is their ethics, and but they're not chasing those new markets like you had mentioned. And I don't want to base our future relationship off, I guess, you and or my relationship with your father. I mean, I don't want to just say just because we have that relationship, we'll be scotch-free,
Right.
So I definitely understand your concerns there and value them, as well as, supporting that ethical behavior.
Okay, awesome. So as far as ownership of this company, I mean, I know you said you'd be willing to make an investment.
Yeah.
This is kind of a future, and there's, a long road ahead, and a lot of potential and a promising success, for the company. So what were you thinking as far as being able to make an investment? How much would you be willing to do? I mean, if that's an okay question, do you have an idea of what you'd be willing to put in and see as a return someday in the future?
Right. So if I understand it correctly, it looks like you're looking for around $500,000 for an initial investment, and I'd love to get my own skin in the game to really incorporate myself into the company, because I don't want you to just feel like you need to take that on yourself and then allow me to have equity.
Right.
So that's something where I would be able to help fund that, so long as you feel like that CEO position is available, and that I can work with you these next couple of years, give everything I have to you and the company, and then eventually you'd be able to eventually purchase my portion of the equity and work my way out. As well as another thing that I would love to see is if I could get that salesman a portion of the equity as well.
Okay.
And that's something where I know he'd be excited about that. He'd be willing, and he'd be able to get some skin in the game as well to really push himself to try to create a future for himself. So.
Okay. No, that's definitely fair enough. And I mean, maybe when we're writing up this agreement, we can put in a few contingencies, and you said you'd be able to, do certain things and be able to get relationships with these people within, maybe we could say a certain amount of time, and be able to put that in there. As far as ownership, just me as kind of the founder and being able to keep my head in this, all through, I kind of want to see it go in the future. I would like to have kind of a majority share, and my dad, he's also kind of partnered with me. He's his company. We want to have a good relationship with them as well, and so we are also willing to put up part of that initial investment, and keep that equity in the company over time. So if we could both do that and work out a way to be able to do that, I would be very happy to be able to partner with you.
Right, and I totally get that, where it's something that it is your future, whereas it's kind of my tapering out at the end of my career. I definitely understand that you like the majority of the equity, and I guess kind of along with that, just as long as my investment I feel like is fair for the amount of equity that I receive.
Okay,
that's kind of what I would base that off of, as well as I know my salesman would say the exact same thing.
Right. Okay. And so just to throw out a couple numbers and just we can talk about this equity split. I was just talking with my father and just kind of the potential that we had and what we wanted to do with you guys, and also Sam, your salesman.
Yeah.
We were thinking more of just have a little bit more of the majority, so we were thinking kind of a 60% on our side, and then 40% as far as the equity split. Kind of have a little bit more of the majority, and then we would also be able to give you that CEO position. And as long as you fulfill that role, to the best of your abilities and meet that criteria,
absolutely.
I mean, we're definitely willing to negotiate as far as what happens even next year and how the company progresses.
Right.
So.
Well, I'd love to be with the company for the next couple of years if I was to make this decision.
Okay.
So if we could work out kind of not longer term. I mean, like I said, I'm getting a little bit older.
Right.
But maybe just like reach a 5-year agreement of some kind where, maybe if you do to get that 60, then I could take the 40 and then kind of figure out with the salesman if he would like some of the equity on top of that. Does that seem fair? Or?
Yeah, I think so, and you can kind of talk with him and see what his opinion would be. If he would end up wanting to lengthen that time, at least for him. As far as you, I'm not sure how long you would want that to be, but yeah, we'd be open to that.
Well, we can certainly put that kind of into the initial contract too. That his equity is dependent upon maybe his performance, or as well as what his personal decisions are.
Yeah,
it won't affect your ability to purchase whatever I have left.
Yeah. So yeah, that sounds good. So as far as that percentages, how's that looking for you as far as the 60-40 split?
Yeah, I think that seems fair, so long as, I guess, like I said, the initial investment is there at that rate. I mean, if I feel like that 40% is too little, and that's something that I guess I got to take on myself right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like for the most part that does feel good. If maybe I could receive more, so that way that the salesman could have more to banter with, I guess,
mm-hmm.
To bring him onto the team. If he was wanting to receive more of an equity, that way he can be more part of this company. Is that something that you feel like is possible, or are you set in stone on 60?
Yeah, I mean, as far as his involvement too, I mean, we definitely would like that potential of him being able to provide that extra, all the relationships he has with our company. Yeah. I think we would be a little bit flexible, we could move around the percentages a little bit. Just as far as we can put in the clause, just a little contingency that, even within the first year, we can just meet certain goals or certain status of where we want to be.
Yeah.
And if those aren't met, then we could, stay. And if they are, then we could probably up it a little bit. But for now, I'm willing to do 58 and 42.
Yeah, 58, 42. That sounds perfect.
That sounds
fair.
A little better.
Yeah.
Okay.
That way, I have a little bit more leadway to offer
sure.
him if he was wanting to be a part of it. So
for sure. And and like I said, if those goals are met within the year or so, and depending on how well the company's doing, then we could even change up that equity a little bit or throw in some other bonuses as well. So
right, absolutely. And last thing that I just want to make sure that it's clear on this contract is that the product itself, we're not going to skimp out on it. Like, I know people associate China, cheap, unreliable, and I don't want that image on the products I'm trying to offer sales to my channels that I have.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah.
Something that we can
No, that was one of the initial aspects that I was looking into, because everybody does kind of have that mindset. And on that trip I did a couple weeks ago, and I went and visited those factories. Those are, top of the end, high quality factories, and that's kind of what I wanted. And I know the initial investment might be a little more than it would usually be if we chose another direction, but I think in the end our sales will kind of show where the profit's really going to be, for our company. So I think we could be able to do it.
Absolutely, especially with those innovative products, and kind of tailoring to what people want rather than what's been established in the past. So as long as we keep on innovating, I think we have a great chance. And
yeah.
I'd love to partner with you at that 42%, and you taking 58 if that's what you feel is fair.
No, that sounds pretty good for now.
Perfect.
Let's get this written up, and we could throw in those other little contingencies and anything else that we feel like we need to. And is there anything else that...
Just keep on innovating and having quality products. Those are the things I care about. So
okay, perfect.
We'll put that in there.
Sounds good.
Thank you.